Ciao everybody, Katerina here. Welcome to my kitchen. Well, recently my husband and I, along with my brother-in-law, Vedat, and Arzu, we were vacationing in Portugal, and there was a dish that I just could not get enough of by the name of Bacalhau com Natas, Portuguese codfish recipe. We all fell in love with this dish. Delicious. I got the recipe, and let's get started. Bacalhau com natas, a wonderful dish that I couldn't get enough of in Porto, Portugal. We're going to be preparing this today. 3 days ago, I went to my fishmonger and I purchased one piece of salted bacalhau, and for 3 days, I kept it in cold water in the refrigerator, changing the water 2-3 times a day to rehydrate the bacalhau and to remove all the salt. Approximately 1.5 pounds of rehydrated fresh bacalhau. The bacalhau, I'm going to add 4 cups of homogenized milk, and I set my stove at medium heat. We're going to cook the cod, like I said, medium heat for 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. I have a strainer here with a glass bowl, and all I'm going to do is drain the milk like this, because we're going to need the milk for later on for the bechamel sauce, and we're going to release the bacalhau. Ooh, it smells so good. I'm just going to place the bacalhau here and set this aside for now. Fragrance is incredible. The cod has been infused in the milk. I'm going to need this for the bechamel sauce. To begin with the bechamel sauce, 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, and my stove is set at medium heat. To melt the butter. Now that the butter has melted, we're preparing a roux is what we're doing. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to mix and not leave the stove until it starts to pebble. The roux is forming beautifully. Now that my roux has formed, I'm going to start adding the reserved milk infused with bacalhau, a couple ladles at a time, always mixing. Continue to stir for approximately 10 minutes. You want the bechamel sauce to thicken up a little bit. A couple of pinches of salt. I will taste it again later. And 1 pinch of black pepper. I'm going to continue mixing. Bechamel sauce is ready. This is the thickness you're going to want to achieve when you're preparing this sauce. And now I'm just going to set it aside. I'm going to begin with the vegetable part of this dish. I parboiled 5 potatoes for 20 minutes. Drained them and allowed them to cool. Once they cooled, I peeled the skin off them and I cubed them. 1 large sweet onion. I also parboiled this for 20 minutes. Once it cooled, I sliced it up. We're ready to saute our vegetables. I'm going to place approximately 3 tablespoons of olive oil in my frying pan. Begin by sauteing the onions for 5 minutes. Add a pinch of salt just to help the onions sweat. Onions have sauteed beautifully for 5 minutes. Now it's time to add the cubed potatoes, and we're going to allow the potatoes to saute along with the onions for an additional 10 minutes. Now would be a really good time to preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. My potatoes and onions have cooked beautifully for 10 minutes. Now I'm going to add 5 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to let the garlic cook for 1 minute. The fragrance is incredible. 1 minute of cooking for the garlic, and our vegetable mixture is ready. I'm going to start preparing the bacalhau. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to fry it into small little pieces like this with 2 forks. Keep your eyes open in case if you see a little bone or something, you can remove it. Taste your bacalhau and you decide if you feel that it needs more salt. I do. So I'm just going to pinch a couple of pinches over my bacalhau, and I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper too. Give this a good mix. We're going to set this aside. Final step to this wonderful dish before we assemble everything together. 2 cups of mozzarella cheese in a bowl. This is going to be the topping. 1.5 cups of heavy cream. I have to say that we had the most wonderful time in Portugal, and I really do strongly recommend, if you're thinking about going there, go. This topping looks fabulous. I'm just going to give it a mix and set it aside. I'm going to be using this baking dish. I lightly sprayed it with cooking spray. Transfer the bechamel sauce to this baking dish. The bechamel is in my baking dish. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a stir. I'm going to add the potatoes and onion and garlic that we sauteed earlier. And now I'm going to add my shredded bacalhau. And I'm going to say it, if you can only smell my kitchen. Take a few minutes and really give this a good mix, because you want every bite to have all these flavors in it. I put my baking dish on a baking sheet with parchment paper, just in case it bubbles up and flows over. I'm so excited about this dish. I'm right back in Portugal. It's absolutely delicious. It really is. Now we're going to put the topping. We're just going to scoop it over. Look how gorgeous. Oh my gosh, look at this. Just look at this. Absolutely gorgeous. In my preheated oven for 25 to 30 minutes. When you see it golden brown on top and bubbly, you know it's ready. My bacalhau con natas is ready. Oh, look at it bubbling. I'm just going to let it rest and cool down for 15 minutes, and then we're going to taste it. My bacalhau con natas is ready. Just this wonderful aroma coming from this dish. I've been transported right back to Porto, Portugal. I'm going to taste it. It tastes exactly like the bacalhau natas that we had in Porto, Portugal. Delicious. In Portuguese, it's delicioso. Ciao. Oh my goodness.